American Made is directed by Doug Liman, written by Gary Spinelli, and it stars Tom Cruise, and it tells a real-life story of Barry Seal, a pilot who was hired by the CIA to take some pictures out in Central America, but then he runs into some trouble when he is forcibly hired by the cartel of Medellin and forced to smuggle drugs for them into the United States. After that, a lot more jobs find his way, and he finds himself overwhelmed with so much power and so much work and so much money that he has. This film tells a fascinating story. The fact that this is real, and I don't know which details were omitted, which details were added to the movie itself, but the fact that it is a real story and the fact that it works in this movie is fascinating. Much like The Founder earlier this year, this is one fascinating story that for every flaw that this movie has, and we'll get to that, I think you should see it because it is fascinating how much this man had to do and how much he actually accomplished. And Tom Cruise plays this guy fantastically so. He is exuberant, he is charismatic, he is super exhilarating, and the movie survives on that exhilaration, both of the character and the direction by Doug Liman. But Tom Cruise, he is a fascinating character, and he's a very sympathetic one at that. Yes, he is greedy, yes, he does this for the money, but he wants this money to provide for his family. He is not squeaky clean, he is not a saint, but he realized that he has a good foundation in him. He has good motivations for wanting to do all this stuff, this illegal stuff that he does in this movie. And he is very passionate about it too. Not just the money, but what he can do with the money. He is happy to see his wife happy. He is happy to provide for his family in general. And that's why this character works in the narrative of a film. And the way Doug Liman decides to tell the story is also fascinating. The way this movie starts, it is going already, and it doesn't let up. This movie keeps going and going and going because it goes through many years, it goes through many precarious situations, and you find yourself invested because this character finds himself digging some holes that he might not be able to get out of. But that also comes at a cost to the movie, because whenever the movie costs a little bit to let the character himself breathe a little bit and for you to understand how he can get things going for himself and for others, you really feel like the movie comes to a halt. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Whenever the movie goes from 100 miles an hour to 95 miles an hour, you really feel a dramatic change, a drastic change in the pacing of this movie. And it happens a little too many times, and that's why the pacing becomes uneven on the whole package. But this movie is probably the most I've laughed in the whole of 2017. This movie is funny, it has sharp, witty, very well written dialogue, and Tom Cruise delivers it perfectly. And Sarah Wright, I believe that's her name, who plays his wife, she is so good in this movie. I really enjoyed her. She doesn't have much to do, but whenever she is on screen, and whenever she's on screen with Tom Cruise, she commands the scene, and it is great. Doug Liman in here is a very eccentric and exuberant type of directing, much like the character he is portraying in this. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. It chooses this very handheld / very documentary style type of shooting, and it works whenever he solely focuses on that. But sometimes within one scene, he changes his style too many times. He changes it from a dolly shot, then goes back to the handheld documentary style, filming certain reactions and closing up on certain characters and following them around with the characters, and sometimes that felt a bit too jarring. Also, there is one minor subplot in here that I didn't think added anything to the movie, and also the characters themselves didn't care about this subplot, so I felt like it really was just dragging the movie along, and they could have chopped it down. Also, they could have chopped it down in time, maybe just 10 minutes, but that subplot particularly justifies those 10 minutes that feel like there is too much movie in here. I really like the way they tell the story in this film. It is a fascinating one. It is very well acted, it is well directed, but the style sometimes can distract you. But I do think the dialogue is very nice, and the movie doesn't let up. As I said, it's full of adrenaline, just like its characters and just like a story like this should be. American Made is not going to be in the top 10 movies of 2017. It's not going to be probably in Doug Liman's top 10 movies, but it is definitely a martini, because it is a good time anytime. What did you think of American Made, my beautiful geekies? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? What is your favorite Doug Liman or Tom Cruise movie? I have reviews for Inhumans coming tomorrow and a video on Force Friday coming on Friday, so I can't wait to see you there. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are the freaking best. I love you all from the bottom of my heart, and until tomorrow, you stay beautiful, you stay geeky, and if you haven't done so yet, click the subscribe button and the bell so we can be geeky united!